Hi. If you're gonna sit on a cushion, make sure it's got good room for your knees to drip down and give the hip flexors some space. If you're gonna sit in a chair, make sure it does not have wheels. If whatever has happened and you're kind of wondering in the back of your head, should I do this particular movement? If you've had a physical therapist involved in your life in the last year or so, or however long, y'all know how it is, always invoke the physical therapist. What should I do? Should I do this? Have I had a knee replacement? Have I had surgery? Have I whatever? All the whatevers. See, that even makes a W. What would your physical therapist do? We all need those bracelets. So good morning, everybody. Welcome. I used to say things like, welcome to Crazy Town. Bill and I had a conversation last night about, he used to tell me I was crazy all the time. I'm like, nope, I don't accept that anymore. I've just realized that some of us are here for different purposes, and to others, it looks weird. For those of us who are here to live that purpose, hello, Scooty, it's perfectly normal. So I'm going with everything's good. Welcome to the universe. So while folks are settling in, start in the center of the bones. When I say that, I usually go to like the center of my femur bone, longest bone in the body. Go right into the marrow. Maybe let the eyes close. Maybe let the breath lengthen. Start to kind of zoom around in there. Spend a little time with the red blood cells and the white blood cells right in the middle of that marrow. Just right there in the middle. Because is there a middle? Oh my God, is there a middle? No. Middle as relative to what? So I've been doing a lot of thinking. It's like COVID is whatever relative to whatever else. Depends on what you've lived through. Depends on where you grew up, how you grew up. This is just relative. It's not relative to anything else. It's also not a problem to solve, at least at most of our level. How many of us are spending all this time trying to solve this problem? Got a frantic phone call from my mother yesterday. Her state ran out of vaccines. They cannot honor her appointment. Okay, so what are we going to do? All right, it's relative to whatever else. Called a friend a week and a half ago. I said, you got to talk me out of my tree. I said, I am in this tree and I am throwing fruit. She's like, okay. So she has what we call her cookie fortunes because she speaks Spanish as a first language. So she switches that instead of fortune cookie. And I said, give me all the cookie fortunes today. I need them all. So whatever was going on was relative to whatever else, because now I don't even remember what it was. So breathe into the center, into the very middle. Find out what middle is. Let your cat bite you. And today we have the consistency card. While you continue to breathe, while you feel those cells diffuse from the middle of the marrow right out through the porous fibers that are there, right out into the body. You could name them. Harold and Yang and Sandrine, and give them all names. Welcome them to the fold. Welcome them to the body. Or not. So breathe in on this consistency. Your past has helped shape your present. The present is helping to shape your tomorrow. Acts of love, hope, and mindfulness shed light on the past, transform the present, and invite brighter tomorrows. The seeds you plant today will blossom and bear fruit. Positive thoughts and actions plant a blessed future. Wait for illumination. It will come. It will come. What is going to illumine your world in such a strange time? I know one of you is truly in absolute limbo. Okay. What you going to do about that? Sometimes when it's not up to us, we just wait. So today, as we wait, if you have the ability, let one hand drip down and touch the ground. That was Buddha's way of making contact with the earth, grounding out. Open the opposite hand. I won't get specific about hands. So if the universe is all around and it has the ability to illumine our way, act as if this was receiving a message, receiving the energy that's necessary. Not to solve the problems. Not everything is a problem. I normally see the world as a thing that needs fixing. I'm stopping that. So, what about illumination? For some of you, it may come down and into the hand. For some of you, it may come up into the grounded hand. Just breathe into that space. Allow that to come to center, come to middle. Maybe it needs to come into the middle of the bones, maybe into the middle of the ego space or the heart space or the truth space. Because what happens if? Oh my God, what happens if nothing happens? Oh, as Ram Dass used to say, so. What happens if nothing happens? Let that full breath come in. Honor the messages that are there. Let it leave. And then let those hands come to center at heart. Pressing palms together, possibly bowing third eye down into the tips of the fingers. Connecting our intuition with our body. One more breath in. Let that breath escape. Open those arms up and out. Let that breath fill and let it escape. Bend the elbows, spread the fingers wide. Listen to the cat whine. What leaves? Stretch those fingertips far overhead or as far as they will go. Breathe it in. What fills? And as the elbows come down to the sides, what releases? Then just the right arm, reaching. If you need to reach out instead of up because of shoulders, make it work for you. Releasing down and in. With the breath, follow that breath. Because like I wrote in the email, if we're going to snuggle with ourselves, we got to get into our own comfort zone. Both arms back up in that gridiron position. Ah, military press position. Act as if you've got weights in those hands. See what your entire upper body does. Does your whole belly clench in and your back firm up as soon as just the thought of holding something heavy comes in? Release something heavy and see what happens in the muscles. Come back into center, back to that middle. Big breath in, big breath out. Beautiful. And then let the hands come down. Let that body start to move in circles. Boy, she's figured out how to get our attention this morning. I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to get beat up by the cat today. She's mad because there's snow on the ground. It makes her little paws uncomfortable. There you go. Loosen all those fibers up. See if one side has a little more tightness than the other. Just noticing that. And then with the breath, let the body circle. And then when you go to release that breath, stir in the opposite direction. There we go. Beautiful. Can the breath match the stirring? And then one full breath, bring it all the way around. And on the out breath, find that middle space. And just wait. Just wait a moment. Breathing in, breathing out. We're going to bring the body forward. We're going to slowly move up to stand. So if you're in a chair, hands come to knees. If you're on the floor, let it crawl forward. And the best way you know how, those of you that need to get off the knees, go ahead and stand up. We're going to come into table and we're going to do a little cat and cow. So the spine goes up and the belly comes down. If you're going to stand, hands go to knees or thighs, and then the spine does the same thing. Just a little spinal movement. Lifting, releasing, lifting, and releasing. This time, let that spine go all the way up. So if knees are really squeaking, go ahead and stand up. Inhaling. Exhale, let that belly drop. Let that head come as high as it can, but keep that neck in line so as not to crush that cervical area. Tailbone reaching to the ceiling, reaching to the ceiling, reaching to the ceiling. Find neutral. Let that right foot come forward, hands to hips. So stagger step if you're standing. Reach forward and then press back. Reach forward and press back. And now little annoying fuzzball has found paper to play with. Boy, she is on it this morning. Example of not waiting. Example of diving under the paper. And then stretch back. Let the toe come toward the nose. If you're standing, just reach toward the knee or the toe if you're on the ground. If this is a balance posture for you, embody that. If you need to touch down, embody that too. If you've got the seat of a chair, breathing in. Breathing out, hands pop down, shift those legs, press back toward heels maybe, or let that spine go back up, whatever is going to feel good. And then here we go. Second foot, left foot, hands to hips if you can, stretching back. Oh, there's that hamstring. Yes. And then the knee pop. We're going to do it all today. We're going to leave no stone unturned here. Beautiful. So those of you that are standing, you look awesome. You're doing just what you need to do. Get into those hams. We're going to press those hips back. Let those toes rise. If this is enough for the body, then stay here. If that's not enough, reach for the toe. If it's too uncomfortable, God knows both knees aren't created equal anymore after a certain age. Breathing in, breathing out, hands come down, shift forward, curl those back toes, slide that foot forward, forward fold. So we're all going to meet here. Some of us are going to meet at the floor. Some of us are going to meet at the thighs. Some of us are going to meet hands in a chair. And then pedal those legs out. Let the hips rock. All right, so no show of hands, but how many of us have already had that thought of, gosh, I wish my such and such wasn't so painful, or gosh, I wish this part of my body was in better shape or something, or God, I can't even touch my toes. The body isn't a problem to solve today. We're going to go into the body the way it is, move around, and wait. Let both of those legs straighten out as best you can. Tip that tailbone up. If you've got the seat of a chair available, put the hands in the seat of the chair. Take the weight of the upper body off of this hinge, and then see what happens to the hamstring length. Oh, Ori, can you come control the cat? She's being mean this morning. Breathing in, breathing out, and then knees bend, chin curls in, the backs of the shoulder blades start to rise toward the ceiling. Lead with the shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades. When they start to tuck in like bird wings, then let the heart come forward. Then the heart is going to be what lifts the head. Hands drip down, belly draws in, and then stack it all up. Because sometimes standing up does not mean we're in alignment, right? So we stand up, then realign. Find the bottoms of both feet. Stack the ankles right over the calcaneus, the knees right over those ankles, hips. You know, some of us are getting a little more fluffy. I'm wanting to step out. I got to keep those bones in alignment, though. The cat and I are going to go round and round. She's going to have to go fight foxes this morning. Let the head stack. Let a breath fill you from your toes to the crown of your head. Exhale all the way back down to your toes. And then let the right arm rise. And then let it release. And then just listen to my words while I let the cat out. Let the left arm rise and release. Let the right arm rise and release. Left arm rises and releases. This time, both arms sweep up and then climb the ladder. We haven't done this in a long time. I'm sure that you guys that are doing videos have done this with zillions of other instructors. But really get into the side body. I mean, really extend, 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 and then switch. See if you can get a stretch all the way from the outside of one foot. And then move with breath. We inhale, extend, exhale through center. Inhale, extend, exhale through center. One more time each side. Inhale. Now your inhales might not be as long as someone else's. Don't worry about it. Move at your pace. There we go. When the body lands there at center, let it come out into cactus arms. Take that right foot, step it out. Left foot steps out. And then just a little twist. Giving the hips a little extra width so that we can get beyond the hips gives us a little bit more that we can turn into. But if you've got spondylolisthesis, make sure you only go about 1/4 of the way. And just hold. If you want to look back at one thumb, awesome. But if you've got neck issues, always choose neutral. Breathe in, breathe out, twist off to the other side. Because see, it all starts to melt away. What needs fixing? Nothing needs fixing. Absolutely nothing needs fixing. Unwind to center. Let those hands slide down. Touch right there behind the sacrum. You can either make a little diamond. You can grab an old necktie. You can grab a napkin or a dish towel if the shoulders don't roll back thusly. Otherwise, interlace. Reach down and back. Bend the knees a lot. Let that chest come down. Now, if this becomes a balance posture for you, as soon as those knees bend, then the hands come out so that you can catch yourself. But we want to open the chest. Because if we're going to snuggle down into the den of our soul and find illumination in there, we got to go through the heart to get there. Open that heart space. Breathe right in there. Exhale. Release the hands, sweep up like you're splashing water. Let the hips come forward. Full forward fold. Wide leg if you want to. The widest leg possible, if that works. Use the back of a chair. Use a wall. Use whatever you need. I peel my socks off. Give yourself 2 breaths. Holding wherever holding is. Releasing out whatever needs to go. Knees bend. Hands sweep back. Heart slides forward. Wide leg Utkatasana. Ski jumper posture. Extend back through the pinky as long as that's okay for the back of the cervical spine region. Big breath. For those of you that like to balance, roll up on the balls of the feet. Extend those heels up into the calves. Ooh, find the ankle wobble. And then all together, push down into the feet. Lift. Rise, lift, rise. Arms open up into a giant X. Heels can still be lifted or they can make contact with the floor. And then once the heels land, right hand comes to left hip. Reach that left hand out and behind you. Just wringing out. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Back up an X. Big X, big X. Breathe in, lift the heels if that would feel good. And then left hand to the hip, right arm reaches behind. Finding the breath here. Noticing if little by little, we're finding a little more flexibility. And then arms up in a big X. Turn the right toes out. Reach down and in. Find that triangle posture. If you need the back of a chair, use the back of a chair. You need the hip, use the hip. You really want to go for gold. Hook thumbs. Reach toward the opposite wall. But the thing is we don't hang on this knee while we do it. We grab the femur bone with this quadricep muscle to hold ourselves steady. One more breath. And then we release ourselves from the bondage of the body, lifting up, dropping left hand back. Reaching back, creating space. Inhale. Exhale, back up into the X. Right toes turn forward. Forward fold. Bend it all the way down and in. Hands to hips. Bounce from side to side if you need to. Otherwise, all the way down and in. Anybody that wants to turn their world upside down, forearm stand, head stand, hand stand right here. Little crow posture if you want to bump that in there. Finding a way to snuggle with the self, even though some of these postures are going to push us physically. Bend the knees, draw it up and in. Big X at the top. Lift the heels if you want to. Whoa! It's good. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm going to turn around. Left toes go out when the heels come down. And then we just sink in. We sink, we stretch in. Just loving on it. If you want that double grab, make sure you grab on with that quad first, because that's going to stabilize your foundation. Find the breath. Lift the toes if you want to lift the toes. Squeeze those inner thighs closer together. And then the next breath releases us out. We reach back, drop that right hand. And where's the illumination after the release? Arms reach up and out in X. Forward fold. One more time. Crumple it down and in. If forward fold isn't your thing this morning, find something else. But see if tipping in, maybe if I tip leading with my heart instead of tip leading with the forehead. So there's leading with the forehead, which then pulls on the cervical spine, or there's tipping leading heart space. Kind of watch my spine straighten out as that sternum space leads first. One more breath. Hands to thighs. Let that spine roll up. Heart is going to explode forward. Shoulder blades roll back and together. Open the hands. And just see what's there. Breathing in and breathing out. Where am I in this moment? Am I waiting? Waiting for what? Is waiting uncomfortable? Are you like me and you stand in the grocery store line going, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up? Or can you just wait? You just wait. If you have the front of a mat available, if you have no mat, then pick what's front. Find the front of the mat, step toward it. If you need a chair in front of you for stability or a wall next to you, make sure you have that. Settle back in over the balls of the feet. Next breath in, the arms rise up. We come down to the thigh space, bend the knees a lot, send the spine up like you're going to try to pop a quarter off of your back. Send the belly down, cow posture, lift the heart, and then when you do, transition that right leg backwards. So if you've got that chair there, you may not want to step too far back, but we then raise the arms. Maybe you've got cactus arms, but we're popping up and back. You've got that warrior posture. Now, I love a warrior with a high heel. That keeps the hips square with the shoulders. And the older we get, this does not a happy lower spine make. So Maybe shorten the stance, maybe lengthen the stance. For those of you that want to push a little further, stretch forward and in and lift into that warrior three. Oh, yeah. So you come up and back and you find that float. But if you're just going to hold in that warrior three, hold there. Be proud here. Find the belly. Belly button reaches to spine. If you're in that warrior three, settle that foot back down behind you. Rise back into that warrior posture. And then wrap the hands across the chest. Turn to the left and just hold. Hold in a little self-snuggle. Or as Zoe wrote in her second grade paper, a snuggle. We now call it snoogling in our house. Breathe through center. Drop that back heel for stability and turn. See if you can turn all the way toward that back foot. Get right foot behind you, arms toward that foot. This left leg pressing out, trying not to follow in so it doesn't torque the knee. Breathing in, breathing out. Come center. Slide the hands back down toward the thigh. Step that right foot in. Pop a quarter off your spine. Drop the belly down. The spine rolls up. The hands roll up. The arms spring open in the way that is ultimately you. However that works. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then here we go again. Knees bend, hands to thighs. Find that comfort position, then pop that quarter up off the spine for that cat arch. Drop the belly down. Once you're there, left foot steps back. And then finding you, drag that chair closer toward you where you can put your hands on it. Have that wall nearby, that countertop. But when you're ready, maybe this is what you've been waiting for all your life. This moment, the middle of COVID. Yes. Between jobs, between, I don't know, one cell being born and another cell dying. If you want to go into that warrior three, bring that body up, gather in. That left leg rises behind. Maybe arms are wide. Maybe you're in prayer. Maybe you're wobbling all over the place. But if you've got a chair, you're just right here. Yes. Find all the breath. If you're swearing at me, you're not waiting. Put that back foot down. Find it. Find it. Find it. Because then you're trying to do me. You're not trying to do you. Do you. Snuggle in. Come on. We're going to turn. We're going to turn. We're going to turn. Well, I'm going to fall over. I'm going to turn to the right. Snuggle around that heart space. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. I mean, trust me, I can hardly do me right now. And then unwind. Back heel falls down on the floor. Turn all the way back. Holding there. This is about the obliques, about that core. It's about not collapsing. So I'm holding high. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Unwind. Hands to knee. Step it forward. Pop that quarter up off the spine. Drop that belly down. Pop the quarter. And then let it roll all the way up. Extend up and out first. Feet side by side. Stabilize the whole body over the feet. Then let the arms clasp behind the back. Grab that dish towel if you need to. Knees bend at first. Press down. Lift up and back. For those of you, chair, press. Straighten the backs of the legs. Don't hold the upper body weight unless you know that it's safe for you to do so. So if you've got spine issues, don't just let go at that hip hinge. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Little balance work coming. Bend those knees. Sweep up. All right, you ready? 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 Left leg comes up into that tree. All the way up and in. If you need to have that arm come down and really tuck up into that groin space because it makes you feel more like you, beautiful. And if you're trying and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling, awesome. But here's the self-snuggle. For those with balance issues, this is where we snuggle in the den of the soul. We take out that piece of frustration and then we wait. Big breath in. Big breath out. We're going to take that left foot. We're going to step it behind into that warrior one more time. Make that transition as well as you can. It might be short, or you may be in here and you really want to fall on your face like I almost did. Whew. I hit something greasy on the floor. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Roll that left heel down. Open up and over. Parsvo. So if you were here, you roll down, out and over. So if this is you, then this is you. Right. Yes. Get in there. For those of you that are really deep in here and you want to open up, touch the floor, and explode into that half moon, woo, and fall over, then explode into that half moon. But if not, give yourself 3 more breaths. Wait. Just wait. Because what would happen? What would happen if I just practiced waiting? 1 more breath. Bring yourself up, warrior 2. Front quad. Ooh. You know, those of you in half moon, settle back in. Breathing in. Breathing out. Backhand sweeps forward, heel rolls up. We step forward. Hands come to center before we do the second side. Just playing around. That's all we're doing. And Brene Brown's list of 10 things for wholeheartedness. Messing around is one of those things. Playing leads to wholeheartedness. So just play around. Don't have to take it so seriously. Here we go. Front of the mat, hands drip down. We reach out and up. Knees bend, hands to thighs. Pop the quarter off the back. Let that belly come down. And then take those hands, send them behind. So we're going to go just into that Utkatasana. And then if you want, with the heel rise, this is always one of my personal favorites. If you have the ability to take the tush down, touch the heels and sweep up, that's always fun. But if that ain't going to happen, then just holding those thighs, holding those thighs. Those thighs are pulling on the bones. When they're pulling on the bones, they're fighting osteoporosis. Yes. So if you're down on your heels, hands sweep back. We lift. We put those heels down. And then the hands rise up. We're going to rise up into that right leg tree. However you find that in your body. Boom. Yes. Make all of the old, okay, so Sunday mornings, Kung Fu Theater, when we used to have, 3 or 4 channels, one of the stations used to play Kung Fu Theater. I grew up every Sunday, well, not every Sunday, watching martial arts movies. So in my head, when I go to do something fun, I always make martial art movie sounds. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Yes. Feel all that. Oh, here we go, because we're going to go out of this the way we came into this. So we're going to put that foot down behind us, stretch it out. Oh yeah, feel that warrior again. Why? Because we should. Roll that back heel down, the hand plants. We reach out and over. Find the waiting space that works for you, because yoga gives us great problems to solve: angles, lines, balance. But there's nothing wrong with your body in the state that it's in. So find your waiting space. If this is your half moon space, then go into your half moon space. But if this doesn't fly on this side, then don't. But start the posture at the back heel if the back heel is planted on the floor. And then reach from the back heel all the way to those right fingertips. Breathing in, breathing out. Half moon comes down to land. We all come up into a warrior posture. Could we snuggle with ourselves now? Have we washed away the weird of the day? Back hand sweeps through the back heel, rolls up, we step forward, reach through the hips, let the fingertips reach behind if that's okay for the spine. Knees bend, hands to thighs or floor. If you're going to go all the way to the floor, maybe not the quarter pop and the belly sag. But then start to straighten those legs. Straighten them as best as you can. Weight in the chair. Breathing it in and breathing it out. So for those of you that are really pushed in a forward fold, find a countertop, find a wall, find a chair without wheels. We're going to take that right leg up and behind us. We're looking for illumination. You're just holding. So maybe your illumination is buried in your glutes somewhere. Maybe it's buried in the hamstrings. Maybe it's the heel could push toward an imaginary universe button behind you. And the head could reach slightly forward. But if you're leaning on a chair, beautiful. You're just here. Right leg comes down, the knees bend, curl in on yourself. If you want to wrap the hands around the backs of the thighs and really snuggle with the thighs and then straighten the legs, beautiful. But if that would make you want to throw your breakfast up, then just come back, balance on the thighs. Inhaling. Exhaling. Those thighs are going to straighten out again. Left leg is going to rise. Very hatha style with this. If you want to come all the way up into that flying warrior 3, beautiful. Or reach for the toe grab or whatever, but otherwise just wait. If you've got antsy energy, just notice it, move with it, but notice it. Breathing in, releasing out, the foot comes down, the knees bend. We support ourselves or hug ourselves. We dig for what's worth loving in there. What's worth loving? Who's doing the loving? Wait, are we looking outward for our loving, or are we looking inward for our loving? Are we filtering through the heart? Hands come to the thighs, pop that quarter up off the spine. Let that belly sag down. And then pop the quarter, roll up and back. And then let the hands just drift and rise. And notice where the body is. Has extra information filtered in between my blah, 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 blah. Has something else arrived? Or was something else always there? And then we make busy. I make myself busy, it gives me purpose. I find a problem and I fix it, it gives me purpose. Then I have something to do. Oh, okay, that's my life story. Could ask my mother. How many of her problems have I tried to solve? I gotta stop. Breathing in, breathing out. Because really, what if we lift the folks that we're with? What if those arms rise and we lift those people and then we look at them squarely and realize they don't have problems at all? My mother doesn't need me to solve anything. Oh, shift to your right. I need to solve this myself. Left leg comes up and out. Reaching up and out. If you've got the flexibility to dive both of those hands into this foot, then reach in. But if you don't, maybe you're here. Maybe the heel's still even on the floor. When you're ready, release. Come to center. Stay for just a moment. Balance again. And then find that person in your world that doesn't need your solving, that would probably benefit more from a lifted snuggle. You raise them up, 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 lift them high, and then shift and let that right leg come up and in. What happens if shifting the perspective gives me the ability to free myself from what I deem responsibility in the wrong place? And because I've placed that somewhere outside of myself, oh, now I've got a problem I can't solve, and then it creates frustration. Release. Come back in center. And just wait. When the breath is really ready to cleanse everything out, breathe the hands down. Identify what's going to be your seat when we go to the floor. Because we will slowly roll down. For those of you that want the vinyasa here, stand up, sit down, fight, 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 slow motion burpee. Move through that. Get your chaturanga in there. Legs go a little wide. Yep, find that. Yep, dive in. Jump, hop, or step those feet behind you, lower down. Stretch that heart forward. Always lead with the heart. Then you get that downward facing dog. Then jump or step through, and then find the floor. But if you need to hold that downward facing dog longer so that you can find that shape and that center, go forth. Find the sits bones, move all that COVID snacking out of the way. I've got COVID snacks piling up. It's good. It's a whole different thing. Hands back into center. Reach them up and out in your way. Let the hands land on either side of the right knee. Heart pulls forward toward the toes. Notice whether that foot rolls out. That's like a release valve. That's like putting your foot on the clutch and releasing so that you can change gears, but it's so that you don't have to stretch that hamstring. So try to keep those toes up toward the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out. Roll up, hands up. Oh, yeah. Lift someone high with you. Rotate opposite side. I've had lots of folks come to me and they go like, oh, Carolyn, I get my rights and lefts mixed up. So do I. Do the other side. And then, you know, what happens if you have one leg instead of two? Okay. It's a little hard to do a right or a left when you don't have the opposite. So you got to do it your way. Roll it up. Lift. Beautiful. We're going to bring those legs in. We're going to roll onto our spines. If you're in a chair, you're going to slide forward, roll onto the spine, get ready for the bridge posture. So for those in the chair, shoulder blades against the back of the chair, tush toward the front edge. And then you're going to simply lift the center of your body. For those of you that want to do a supported bridge, slide something up under the tush and then just wait. Everyone else, hands on the floor, hips rise. Make sure that you walk the feet close enough together so that you've got good equal reach through the tips of each kneecap. But if walking too close together pulls too much on one knee, then maybe toe heel out and see if that helps. Because what they're saying is to keep the knees out of pain in this posture. Because this can impinge, because now you've got upper body weight that's pulling on that meniscus area. So, I mean, then we can march on up and talk about the low spine area in this. If you need to drop the hips and then lift the hips, do that. If you're in that chair, you're lifting that heart. You could have the hands on either side of the seat and lift the hips if you wanted to. Breathing in, breathing out, roll it down. Oh, yeah. Right heel, left thigh, arms in T position. Drop the right thigh. For those of you that want to do a more gentle twist, you're going to get that midline, but you're not going to tweak the back. If you need to put a pillow under the knee, put a pillow under the knee. For those that are practiced and really want to go for the full twist, then the foot comes down. But if you've got low spine issues, then thigh side goes over. So what happens in the simmering of the body? We simmer. It gave us something to do. Little puzzles to solve. Little things to think about. If the rest of the day sneaks into your mind, the things that I've got to do, use the breath. Come back into this twist. If you're in a chair, it's the simplest twist ever. You're going to get a good hip flexor stretch out of it. Doesn't have to be anything major. Can you just wait? The next breath that wants to fill the body, let it fill and release. And then the next breath wants to fill the body again. Let it fill. Let the legs follow. Exchange feet, left ankle, right leg, and then left thigh to the floor. If you want the full twist, go the opposite way. Thing is I used to be able to walk around a classroom and say, oh, hey, you switch sides. Oh, hey, da-da-da-da-da-da. Because we knew each other well enough. Well, now it's like, I don't know who took a tumble down the stairs recently. So we got to take care. And we got to fill. Let the ribs fill. COVID brings in this whole new awareness of breathing because, oh my gosh, the doomsday stories of, ventilators and all these things. I mean, even just talking about it, I get a little good. What about breathing now to strengthen that respiratory system? Breathing now, feeling the itch, coughing out what you need to cough out now. Coughing clears the lungs. Breathing now, just to be in the now. Let your body fill. Notice it fill. Notice. Notice it release. Notice the filling again. The legs follow up. One more bridge posture or a full wheel if that's up to you. Feet plant, hands plant, hips rise. Those of you in that chair, you may just want to find another chair at this moment to put your feet up in so that you can relax. So if you've got to get up and walk over and grab another seat to put your feet in, do that here. Maybe find a ball to put behind the lumbar spine. Squeeze the tush, lift, squeeze, press. If there's anything else left in there, use the squeeze of the tush to wring it out. Squeeze until you smile. And then exhale, release, roll. Let the body start to melt into the floor. If you feel like we missed a posture or two, add those here. Otherwise, have your Shavasana. Being a teacher, I don't get as much Shavasana as you guys do. If you need a meditation position, come up in the meditation position. Wherever you are, lengthen the spine. Think about where you're attached right there at the crest of the hips, where the hips slide in and they come in and snuggle with that area. L4, L5, S1, that little region right there. If you need something under the head. And now notice if these words mean something different while you start to elongate the breath again. Your past has helped shape your present. The present is helping to shape your tomorrow. Acts of love, hope, and mindfulness shed light on the past, transform the present, and invite brighter tomorrows. The seeds you plant today will blossom and bear fruit. Positive thoughts and actions plant a blessed future. Wait for illumination. It will come. It will come. Move into the nothing. And then, like Peter Russell says, just wait. If the mind drifts, breathe in. Bring it back to now. Catch the mind. Breathe in. Bring it back. And then gift yourself 5 breaths. Notice if at some point during our practice today or in this very moment, illumination rose up within you. Use the breath to stoke the fire there. If you're on your back, maybe walk the feet in by the tush and let the knees swish from side to side like windshield wipers. If you're in a chair, maybe roll one shoulder, or if you're seated, roll the shoulders. The mind is a blessed tool, and we've been programmed. I must do, I must achieve, I must have something else, I must need, I must. And what happens if we don't? What happens if we don't? Once the body feels that it has moved, if you want to move up to seated, you can. Otherwise, stay where you are. Hands come into center. The breath starts to fill. Finding gratitude for yourself, for your very being in this moment. If you've been worried, acknowledge that. If joy has been inside trying to bubble its way out, acknowledge that. We will end as we always do with deep breaths and sound. If you want to join me, you can. If you want to amen instead of om or salame or shalom, whatever language calls to you at the moment. Might not even be of this universe or this planet. Breathe in, cleanse it out. And then find that little snuggly place inside. Breathe in there and echo it out. Breathing in again. Third breath. And then cross your heart and hug yourself because I can't come and do it. Oh, lucky us, we can't smell each other right now. Smell-o-vision has not been invented yet, or at least never took off. I love you all. You're amazing beings. Illuminate the world. Thrive in the difference. God, every day could be the same. Or we could notice the subtle differences. Namaste. Shalom and salame. Amen. Hallelujah. It's Tuesday. And now I must go let the cat in because she wanted out and she screamed, and now she wants back in and she's screaming. I am a slave to a furry animal. Alas. All right, if you want to hang around and have a little chat ski, I'm going to